What's up, Dub Nation? Rich with Let's Go Warriors back again. We will take a look at more.
Well, my ankles feel good. It's nice and light. I
had to mute the other tab that had this video on it. Okay, so we're going to look at some cap sheets per usual and try and put ourselves in LeBron's shoes and try and predict what he's going to do. I guess Daniel Barry's in the house. Justin Hughes is in the house. And I do want to tweet out the fact that we're live right now. So I kind of want to do that as more and more people hop on. So why don't we just leave it there for now and go to our Discord server and just make sure we're, if something comes through the wire that we're on top of things right here. Once again, the Discord server can be accessed at this link, although there is a slight bug at the moment. I still haven't gotten around time to getting around to fixing the Discord link. But if you sign up, you'll be like registered on the Valkyrie site by accident. I don't know why it's doing that. And then I can switch you over at some point. But real quick, I am going to just tweet out to everybody that we're now live. Hold on. Let's figure this out real quick. Oh. Whoops. Hold on a minute. There we go. Okay. Why is Bron playing this? Why do you say it like that? We're going to look at some cap sheets. What if he's not playing us? What if he's legitimately trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life? Why has it got to be about you? Not very high vibrational, my friend. I know that that's an issue with a lot of people when they're thumb typing away with, kind of no accountability out there. But we just, on Let's Go Warriors, we just don't talk like that. We're a little bit different than your favorite social media app. I feel like it's a welcome relief from the constant complaining out there. But hey, it's your own free will. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to try and show you a better way to carry yourself. So, did Seth Curry get picked up? No. So let's just go ahead and dive into it. I made a new spreadsheet. Here's the old one with a million tabs, this is the latest and greatest. This, if LeBron's coming in at the NTMLE free agent slot, if I add up all the numbers to be under the first apron, you're going to have to trade out Moody because there's no other salary slot that you could really do. I tried to trade pods it didn't work. It just mathematically falls apart. You're still over the first apron. You can't really trade Horford, which is a larger salary. You're not trading Yaxel. And as far as Porzingis, once again, I was told by Yossi Goslin that the way that he's been doing this for a decade, and he's never seen a situation where you sign a guy to an extension officially, as Kristaps did, then you turn around and traded him a couple days later. Can it happen? Yes, it can happen. We've seen, Luka get traded for Anthony Davis. So anything can happen, but I've been told that we're not trading Porzingis, and I don't have anything to go on except that this guy that I got it from is way more experienced at these spreadsheets and the history of contracts in the NBA than I am. Therefore, it's got to be Moses. Again, you never know. The caveat being, I only really have 2 years of experience doing this stuff. Down here, Quinton Post, as I've said before, based on my analysis of this, if we sign LeBron, some team could come and offer Quinton Post more than $5 million, and there's nothing we can do about it because we are pretty much strapped. That's why we couldn't do much in the first place. And I don't mean to keep repeating myself live stream after live stream, but the reasons why are mainly Steph Curry's salary, Jimmy Butler's salary, which used to be Wiggins, which used to be, Wiggins and Dennis Schroeder and Buddy Hield, or Wiggins and Dennis Schroeder, which used to be D'Angelo Russell, which used to be Kevin Durant. And we used to have 40 plus million tied to Klay Thompson. We've always had Draymond until he did the altruistic thing of opting out just now. He was always tied up at 25 million. And so for people to just complain over and over again, what you really should be doing is you should be saying, we need to trade Steph. I would never want to trade Steph. You can't trade Jimmy Butler. So all the people that are like, wait a minute, they traded for Paul George and they sent out only 2 picks and 2 pick swaps. We have that. Why didn't we do it? The fact of the matter is this guy has an ACL injury that he's rehabbing from. And if you thought trading for Paul George was bad, trading for Jimmy Butler would have been worse, because it's like you don't even get the services of the guy until at least Thanksgiving at the best. If he's got Patrick Mahomes type of DNA with the ligaments, then maybe Thanksgiving, but otherwise it's going to be probably Christmas. Otherwise it's going to be probably January. We don't know yet, right? So why would the Celtics do that? So this contract is pretty much unmovable. And, we can talk about Trey Murphy again. We'll do that later. I keep promising this, but I always just, the path gets cut off right away. Why would the Pelicans want an injured Jimmy Butler? That makes no sense for them. They're trying to rebuild. They want draft picks. They want a young player. They would, they would probably rather have Podziemski than Jimmy Butler if it came to who are you going to throw out there on the basketball court. But obviously the numbers don't work. You're just going to be saddled with this one. Now he comes off the books and all of that, but we'll get into the next summer, because if you're envious of the Lakers being able to go out there and just go on a shopping spree for all these free agents. Now, I tried to explain this to somebody on Twitter, and they were not listening to me. It was like, yeah, but who they picked up, you know, it's whatever, you know. Yeah, I know. That's irrelevant. It doesn't matter what they did with the shopping spree that they could do with the available cap space. It's the fact that they had a shopping spree. They could go out and build their team from free agents. Whether you like Kessler or not, whether you think Mamu is, you know, a bona fide, you know, let's call it 16 game performer. Whether you think that them picking up Colin Sexton and Quentin Grimes, who are good pickups, should they not have picked up a wing in the process? Who knows? There's rumors out there they're trying to get Jonathan Kuminga, kind of, you know, below market value wise. Look, you got to keep that in mind. I got to go back to the cap sheet of the Warriors in the out years. This is very, very important. If you're new to this, you have to listen. This is perhaps the most important thing I'm going to tell you tonight. All of these salaries, except for the cheap one of Will Richard, another cheap one of Guy Santos. DeAnthony Melton's actually pretty cheap. Al Horford is actually pretty cheap. Kristaps is not actually 20 million, it's 3 million guaranteed. And the fact that they would sign Kristaps at a non-guaranteed contract where 3 million, only 3 million of it is guaranteed, tells you that we want to be in a position that the Lakers are in right now. They're able to, or not now, but a week ago. So I just don't see us picking up a guy like Trey Murphy now. It could be happening right now as I speak, but I would be shocked because that's not good fiscal management. You went through the trouble of clearing the deck next summer, and you're going to add 29 million to that and then 31 after that. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And that's why we were never interested in Malik Monk, because he would be tied down this summer. And it just doesn't make sense to me to trade for a non-all-star who has a longer contract. Now, had it been Kawhi Leonard, he's got a player option, debatable. So I did advocate for Kawhi Leonard, but that was for Jimmy Butler. Anyways, like I said, the most important thing you need to take away tonight has nothing to do with LeBron. It's actually that we have all these salaries that are either small or coming off the books next summer. So let's just take our time to get there. Okay, so before I dive into this spreadsheet, let's catch up on comments. So no Seth Curry. We have to wait and see what happens. I was never confident that LeBron would be a Warrior, but it would be spectacular to have him on the team. Yeah, and the other thing is, the other thing that people are complaining about is, and it's funny because Nick Friedel, my guy, addressed it today, is LeBron, you know, holding us up from getting another guy? First of all, it's either LeBron or another guy. And guys that came off of the market, so you can cross these names out. Quentin Grimes, okay. The Lakers seem like a much better option for them, and he'll get to start next to Luka. So we never had a chance at Quentin Grimes. That's the situation. That's just how we are. I mean, right now, we're not the best free agent destination. And again, it's really because of these two big salaries up here. And of course, we messed up the Kuminga development. So we had to trade for Kristaps, and now that's kind of messed up. And I'm glad we never traded Steph. So again, if there are some major complaints about this, number one, Jimmy's injured. So we have a future Hall of Famer that can't even play, and he occupies 56 million. And Steph only played 43 games. And I'm glad we didn't trade him because he's a Warrior. I'm a Warrior. You know, we're happy with that. So you can't really be upset about things the way that they are because we're old. We got old. We lost Clay. Clay was disgusted by coming off the bench, even though we all know that that was the right thing to do, but he had an offer he couldn't refuse. Go play starting shooting guard in the corner. Just plant yourself there. We played super slow anyways. And we went to the finals last year with Luka and Kyrie, two future Hall of Famers. That's nobody here would ever pass that up. It doesn't matter what Lacob wants to pay you, which is why Clay went to the golf outing with Joe Lacob and said, you know, there's nothing you can say, so let's just not even talk about the contract. I'm leaving for the Dallas Mavericks. So that made our situation top heavy. And to get back on track to what I was talking about, we unfortunately just have to wait for LeBron because there isn't, I mean, he would change our trajectory big time. And you just have to wait for that. I mean, it's not like, you know, this is a big decision for him. You have to respect that. And there are very tough decisions. We'll go through the human aspect of it after we go through the spreadsheet aspect of it. So I don't expect any major moves. Anthony Simons signed with the Sixers. So Simons signed with Sixers earlier today and at a very, very cheap price. And part of that is why the Sixers are in the thumbnail of this video, because they're now an attractive destination. Recent reports have an additional move or two. Yep, it's Moody. The move is Moody. Unless they want to go against what Yossi Goslin told me. Shiv Mond, bring back GP2. You know, I like him. It would be right here for Moses because I got that pegged at a veteran's minimum to fit everything. And I gave Quentin, you know, I gave Quentin Post $5 million because, well, he's a restricted free agent and we can match an offer that comes in. The offer won't be $5 million, but I needed to plug in a number that fits under the first apron, and that's the one that does. That's the most we can pay him. So it's not like we're gonna pay. I mean, this is just a theoretical number. It's a placeholder. And so Gary could go here or he could go here. The problem with this one is we do not necessarily need 15 guys. However, if Moses is still a Warrior or Jimmy is still a Warrior, then we're going to need a guy because then we only have 12 guys instead of, you know, to fill this slot for 13 guys. So, yeah, I would love Gary, but we'll see, man. We might need to try and go get a veterans minimum. Like maybe Brandon Williams would come here. He's a point guard that played well to close the season out for the Mavs. However, maybe it's, you know, LJ Cryer at another rookie exception value. I think we can put him on a rookie deal. He hasn't been a full-fledged NBA contract kid yet. He's only been a two-way. Yeah, so I don't know. I love Gary too, but I don't know if there's enough room for him, even though he played great to close out the season. Do you think we're going to get LeBron? The Heat are looking good right now. Why are the Heat looking good? Can you explain that can you explain how the Heat can fit LeBron? Veterans minimum? Would you ever try to trade for Zion? How much does he make? Go back to New Orleans. 42 million. So what's the salary matching? So you got to peel the onion more. That's if there's a second thing I can teach you guys today, other than the fact that I've come to the conclusion that we just need to get through this season and get to next summer. Then we can go on a free agent shopping spree, restock everything around Steph, and figure out what discount he's going to give us. And in fact, I was thinking the new thing that I thought of is it may behoove us to give him an extension earlier, because then his I need to when we get past summer league, then I can bug Yossi Goslin, because he'll have nothing to do because all of his cap sheet free agency work is done. Then I can bug him and I can go, okay, next summer you gotta, how do we build the team with, what's the cap hold situation on Steph and Jimmy? Because does that prevent us from going on a shopping spree? And I think we might be okay, but I'm not sure. So then I can ask him about the extension with Steph. Does it make sense to extend him, whatever the number may be? It's going to be less than 62 million. But should we figure out something now with Steph? Because the cap hold, there's this thing called cap holds. Like when the Lakers went shopping, they had to keep the cap hold on Austin Reeves. The problem is it was easier for them because Austin Reeves was making so little money. Anyways, so if the second thing, aside from next summer having a kind of a clean cap sheet, if the second thing I can teach you guys tonight, if you're willing, is that when you think of a guy that you want to target, Zion Williamson, for example, please go find out how much he's making. In this case, 42 million. I like to use Hoops Hype. What I really like is you can even go to the player side. So you got to go Hoops Hype, team salaries, Warriors or Pelicans or whatever team you're looking up. And player salaries, we can utilize this later. Although the one on BK Ref is a lot better because you can just scroll down to the guy making the least amount of money. You got to figure out who you're matching the salaries with. So if you say, I want to trade for Zion, then you need to give me the Warriors players that are going to add up to Zion's salary. And the moment you go Jimmy Butler, I'm going to go, okay, why would the Pelicans do that right now? Now, we can mock up next February, so we can pretend that stuff has happened, that the Pelicans are, a terrible team or what have you. So they'll still want to trade Zion, and we're hovering around 500 again, and we will want to do a trade. Then we can trade Jimmy Butler at that time. But I just don't think anybody's going to trade for Jimmy Butler right now. And there's probably not enough draft picks to send them. I mean, there is, because we can send what? We can send 3, I think. You got to go to cap sheets for that. And the Warriors have, I was looking at the Sixers, you see. We'll look at that in a moment. Golden State has 3 we can trade. And one of them, though, is conditional. Yeah, 1 through 20. Okay, so I don't know how you would add up to Zion. And again, based on the other piece of intel that I got, we're not trading Porzingis apparently, so you can't move that salary either. Warriors have Porzingis, Horford, Melton, even if we don't get anyone. Yeah, I think that too. And the other thing is we couldn't really do much to begin with. Again, we have 2 guys injured here. Sending out Moody, we're going to have to, we're probably going to have to send a second round pick out unless there's a team that really values Moody, but they're going to use that as a negotiation tactic against us. Still, LeBron will probably play more than 0 games between the start of the season and whenever Moses gets back. So that technically is an upgrade. LeBron is definitely an upgrade. Or whoever's left on the free agent market. Rui Hachimura, quite honestly, would be an upgrade. But speaking of which, would Draymond be okay with that? Would he be like, wait a minute, I'm going to take a near 50% pay cut. This one's actually 42%. So that you can bring Rui? You know, it's kind of up to him. He's the one who gave us the option. You know, it's kind of like we can't screw Draymond over, right? He can't regret that decision, right? So I don't know. But yeah, we couldn't do much. And that's the other thing that people out on Twitter just don't understand. Even Warriors reporters don't understand this. I'm pretty sure you can find the Warriors reporter today that would not be able to tell you that I think we're better off just treading water for a year and let's empty the cap sheet. By the way, trading out Moody, not a bad thing to get rid of that 13 million, you know. So yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do here. We've been, you know, the Warriors front office has been looking at summer 2027 as the year to really make things happen. And again, it comes down to the injury, the other injury for Steph, and the other injury for Moody. Trading Guy Santos. Why would you do that? First of all, of course, there's no talk. Secondly, the reason why of course there's no talk is because this is an amazing contract. You guys have to learn that as well. So I'm giving you so many things to learn, right? You have to learn what is a good salary and what is a bad salary. Moses Moody, 12,500,000. That sounds fair. Now that you look, when you're looking at cap sheets left and right all the time, you know, quite frankly, Hoops Hype should give me a commission because and cap sheets and all the other places where you can look up salaries, because it's time for people to understand what, you know, who is worth what. Is Jimmy Butler overpaid? Well, based on that he's injured, yes, but if you were fully healthy, the impact that he has and the experience and the impact in the playoff game, you could argue that he's worth this. Steph, is he worth 62 million? On the floor as a performance vehicle, you know, well, he only played 43 games. So you're thinking, no, he's not worth 62. So like you kind of have to understand what is worth what. Al Horford at 7 million seems fair, quite honestly. Yaxel Lendeborg, that's a bargain. It should be a bargain. I mean, a guy like him, you know, is probably worth at least, you know, double digits, but he hasn't played a game yet. And this is why, again, draft picks are very important. That's the whole new model of the NBA. OKC, Spurs, who got lucky, 3 straight lottery picks in the top 5. And Brandon Pajemski right here. This is a good contract because it's on a rookie deal. DeAnthony. Actually, this is a pretty good contract. Why? Hey, I mean, Anthony Simons, another combo guard that can score, probably can't play defense as well as Melton. He just scored a deal that's pretty equivalent to this. Colin Sexton scored a deal that's above this, but he's a younger version of Melton. So that seems fair. Guy Santos, what he gave us, he's playing like 3 times this value. So you don't trade out contracts that are whereby the players achieving that contract. Will Richard, he's playing above a veteran's minimum. So, you know, our worst contracts are injured people, right? Has anybody ever realized that? The top 4 contracts of our squad are all injured in some way or another, or not otherwise 100%, you know, healthy players. Nobody says that. All they do is complain. So there's not much you can do if your top 4 contracts are tied up to a situation where you don't know that if they're playing 65 games. In fact, for 2 of them, you know for sure they're not. So, I mean, really, what is there to complain about? You're just complaining about the wrong thing. You don't know the real reason. And really, the real reason why people complain is that something else in their life sucks, and it bleeds over into any analysis of the Warriors. Trust me, I've been there. Totally agree with you. Yeah, there you go. Is GSW really that serious in going after LaFlop? I don't know why you had to word it that way. I am not wanting to duplicate the thumb typing culture of Twitter on my channel. We need to escape that. So if you had worded it in a way that just didn't throw anybody under the bus, like, I just feel like it'd be so refreshing to read a chat box where everybody is respectful of, you know, and is appreciative of the game of basketball and what it has brought you to your life, because it has brought me. I could have never dreamed that I would end up filming Steph hit 93 out of 100 threes for 6 million views on this very channel, right? I'm lucky. I love the game too much. So I just don't partake in that. But to answer your question, if you had worded it nicely, as if, you know, we were total strangers in a coffee shop, like, of course, name me another guy that fits into this cap sheet that's going to be better than LeBron. It's not Rui Hachimura. It was never Anthony Simons. It was never Colin Sexton. It was never, who else is available? Whoever's left over on the free agent market. It was never John Collins. It was never Jonathan Kuminga. It was never, even though that'd be crazy. He would never come back to play for Steve, no matter how much we paid him. And yeah, so of course, LeBron is a real possibility, but we're going to do the important thing, which is compare it to the other financial situations of other teams. I'll be thinking Dre, yeah. The draft capital needed might be unwise right now. I don't mind the team looks while adding LeBron. I think Rui would go more for the MLE, though. Yeah, this is the MLE. Would you trade Jimmy for Trey, Poole? I mean, would I trade Jimmy? Like, again, would Joe Dumars want to receive that package is the first question. So that's not happening. Thanks, Justin Hughes. I need to screenshot you, even though I've been doing a horrendous job of tweeting out good screenshots. My bad. I'm just not into the social media thing, even though that drives traffic and all that. Sadly, that's the paradox I'm stuck in. Warriors are very serious. Absolutely. Oh, cool. Wait, you didn't put 2 and 2 together? I mean, like, it is this channel. Oh, you thought I copied that? No, people copied me. AJ DeBonsa signed. Cool. I'm glad that is the only news that's going on right now. Let me get something cool in the background. How about our thumbnail? Yeah. No, I know. Let's just put Steph. Zion Watson. Does that mean you are wanting Peyton Watson fan? Let me screenshot that. Do you have any idea who's going to play in the summer league? Oh yeah. That's on our Discord. Again, I apologize that our Discord server is buggy right now, but if you sign up, and I know you're going to get signed up on the Valkyries one by accident, but I'll eventually get you over pretty soon. But if there's a summer league section, and here's the schedule, by the way, and then you just go down a little bit, everything's summer league and draft and training camp. Here's a roster, and actually there was another roster that I failed to duplicate there. I don't know what happened, but let me go grab that. Wow. It was the Warriors. I'm going to copy that over right now. So boom, you should see that. And let's put the roster in the G League channel as well. So I just posted, yeah. So here are your rosters. The one going to Sacramento up here, I mean, down here, sorry. The one going to Sacramento down here, it's like a bunch of guys you never heard of. So, of course, they're going to go to Sacramento. We're going to stay at Chase, have access to the practice facility. So, Yaxel, Will Richard, Malavi, LJ, LeJay, they're all staying here in San Francisco, obviously, with this squad. And then the split squad will go over there. Now, why did we do a split squad? You know, it's good to get these guys more experience. Usually we have like 25 guys and, you know, only 10, 12, 15 guys get to play. So I think it's good for our program to have more people come through and let them feel what it's like to be a Warrior, however brief it is this weekend. They're obviously practicing right now. So all of these guys are at the practice facility. And so I think it's a stroke of genius for us to have 2 summer league teams, sort of. Now, we can only send 1 roster. I think, I can't remember what's the maximum, but it's going to be this roster in Vegas. And welcome back, Alex Tuhi. But I read somewhere that he's injured again. So don't know if he'll play. So yeah. And by the way, tomorrow, live stream, watch party. And then there's another one where I think Sunday they start at 2 p.m. and then 4 p.m. back to back. So we'll get to check out the scrubs. But yeah, I think I'll just do a 4-hour live stream. Why not? Get to watch them. We always do that. But other than that, I'm kind of skipping the Sacramento team. It does not interest me. Between Draymond opting out, I really do believe Draymond has more intel. Oh, absolutely. LeBron carried the Lakers past the Rockets. Yeah, totally. What free agents am I looking at for next year? You know, that's a separate video. And it's really the big fish would be like having the space available to threaten to steal Donovan Mitchell. That's what you do. So everybody here, hope that Cleveland sucks. Hope that there's, you know, whatever it may be. Hope that Donovan Mitchell ends up not being totally happy to be a Cav. Then that possibility opens up. And other than that, don't know. I mean, there's guys signing 1-year deals here too. So it depends on who signs now. But, you know, like there's restricted free agents. Walker Kessler was one for the Lakers. That's how they got him. Jalen Duren was another one. So go look at the draft class of 2023. just like, Brandon Pajemski, right? Shivmond. All right. Pods for Buzelis. Why would Chicago do that? And how much does Buzelis cost? Chicago loves Buzelis, and Buzelis killed us. Yep, that's another like rookie scale. When a rookie, when a rookie scale, draftee, when a young guy outperforms his contract, how are you trading for him? How in the world? It has to be a guy that doesn't perform, such as Kuminga, Kobe White, or has some contract dispute like Kobe White. So we would have to hope for some contract dispute, but check it out. He's a restricted free agent. So why would you trade for him now when you can probably go and outbid anybody next year? Now, is that sound roster building? Buzelis, unproven. And yet he could take a leap this season. So could Brandon Miller of Charlotte. I'm sure Brandon Miller of Charlotte is much more loved in Charlotte than he is in Chicago just because he's played better. But then that's debatable too. Maybe Buzelis has played just as well. Hey, I'm glad you brought Buzelis up, you see? So it's not always bad to just ask the question, because once you think out loud, which is not possible on social media or any of the other, I'll call it Warriors Twitter driven podcasts, because they're all caught up in either being mad at Steve Kerr, being mad at Joe Lacob, or I just named 2 podcasts for you, by the way, or the third option is the third podcast out there loves to come up with sneaky ways to throw somebody under the bus as if you were a stand-up comedian. Like on Let's Go Warriors, it's never technically a dumb or stupid question, because it makes me kind of go through the process. So then I am forced to open up the Chicago cap sheet. I'm already going down the path of explaining how Buzelis is overperforming his contract, just like Pajemski, just like Brandon Miller. And yet it goes, wait a minute, team option. Yeah, he's a guy we could go poach, actually, the way the Lakers are doing with the way the Lakers did with Walker Kessler. And they had their choice between Jalen Duren and Walker Kessler, but they chose the guy that was cheaper. So that makes sense, right? And so we can be one of those teams in play. Now, Sacramento, they're in play for Duren because they have a contract that is horrible, Zach LaVine. And ironically, they can tell Jalen Duren to force a sign and trade. They can play around with Duren's mind and go, oh, you're going to be the man here at Sacramento and blah, blah, blah. Jalen Duren's crazy. If he if he ends up in Sacramento, then we're going to really know he's all about the money. But sometimes you come from a background where it is all about the money. Like, I won't sit here and throw even Brandon Ayuk under the bus. You have to look at where he's from, what his upbringing is. It's, you just try to have compassion with people. So, so we either have to have a tremendously bad contract like Zach LaVine, or, and we do kind of, Jimmy Butler injured is kind of comparable to that, but he's coming back. And also we've made so many, goodwill things with Jimmy, and he has given us a hell of a 1-loss record when he's healthy. So it's really not like Zach LaVine. It's no comparison. So you either have to have that or straight up cap space. So moving on. Shivman, why did they really have 2 lineups? Yeah. I explained why we have 2 summer league lineups. Grayson in the house. There were rumors of trying to get AD, right? But I gave up on that idea. I had a whole bunch of AD mock-ups here. And the problem with that, again, is if you go to Washington, the problem with that is Anthony Davis has a player option, and that doesn't help us when we're trying to clear out cap space, even if he was not itching to get that extension, which we all know that he is. So also, Washington wants to keep Anthony Davis and just give it a try. They went through all the trouble of getting him. And so I don't think we need to spend draft picks right now. I think you'd want to have draft picks available at the same time that you have cap space. That's exactly what the Lakers had. That's exactly how the Lakers were able to get Kessler, is a combination of draft picks and cap space. That's the best combination you can have. Well, the better combination would be like the Spurs or OKC or Charlotte. But in effect, Charlotte does have cap space this year, which is why they could absorb bad contracts and hoard more draft picks, which that is a strategy we cannot do. And OKC is already in that position, and the Spurs are already in that position with so many, 3 all-star caliber guys, 4 if you count De'Aaron Fox and kind of ignore his playoff performance. Actually, he played well throughout, and then the finals, he's not a finals player, I guess is how Draymond might categorize that. I'm not putting words in Draymond's mouth, but so the Spurs are in a nice place. So we're trying to get somewhere close to that, and trading for guys like AD may not be the best thing, even if for sure it brings LeBron. I still don't want to, the opportunity to go shopping for free agents. Look at how happy the Lakers are, right? Even though I don't even think they did a good job. So, we'll get a chance to do that. Yeah, Wizards confirmed. They're not trading AD. The matches for me are on July 4th. Is that World Cup? Anything is still on the board, even AD? Well, not really AD. Donovan Mitchell is waiting for LeBron's decision too. Oh, right, in Cleveland. We gotta go get that. Bruce, free throw rule. Yeah, whatever. No, they've had that rule. They've had that rule in G League, FYI. So we've known it's around the corner. And granted, it's not for the whole game. Last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter goes back to normal. But I just think it would be a shame. It would be a shame if we actually implemented that, because then all of the stats would not really be real. The free throw stats, you'd have to put an asterisk on them. And who's really the great free throw shooter? I mean, that's just a tradition thing that change some other things about the game before you change that. Connor Farrell's in the house. Cool. We're catched up. The Warriors knew LeBron was coming. I hope so. Well, Draymond, anything is on. Draymond had something to do with that coming in. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these. I'm going to build these cap sheets along with you. So we're going to exit out of this old spreadsheet because it had a lot of mock-ups starting in April. I started that spreadsheet in April. Now we're on the cusp of free agency officially being announced. July 6th. You would think that LeBron would have it all figured out in the next couple of days. But I do think it's a tough decision for him. So, look, I always try and present the NBA and the Warriors especially as something human, obviously behind the scenes like this. But also, my old videos, but when I had a credential, but also I still carry that spirit with me these days as if I was still at practice. I mean, quite frankly, Raymond Ritter should thank me, because him giving me a credential all those years and me utilizing what I saw, the osmosis that I got, and trying sharing that with you guys, that's all that he could ask for. I need him to one of my goals before it's all said and done is to get him to thank me for all of this. No, I'm kidding. He could. I'm not needy at all. I'm just happy to be here and blessed to have 100 of you on right now. Of course, I wish it was 200, but I'm also, really blessed to have even 100 of you on here. So let's go ahead and build some spreadsheets. Let's start with, yeah, we can just copy this one. And gosh, I'm gonna look at what's the one that's hottest right now? Philly, right? So let's do a poll. Which team other than the Warriors? And I ask you this without looking at cap sheets, because that's what we're going to do right now. So let's do a poll now and do a poll later. Which team other than the Warriors has is the most attractive to LeBron? Myself, man, that's a tough one between Philly and Cleveland, right? Because what I know is when everybody thought, I should say this, I forgot to say this, when everybody thought LeBron was staying with the Lakers, there's a reason why. By the way, Denver has appeared, so Denver's on the list. There's a reason why everybody thought LeBron would stay in LA. It's because he likes his lifestyle there. He likes to be in Hollywood. He likes to be close to his family, and but yeah, it's one daughter now. Bryce is at, I think, Arizona, or did he transfer to Cal? He might transfer to Cal. You never know. But he's at Arizona. And then obviously Bronny got guaranteed by the Lakers, oddly enough. And he's in LA. So lifestyle wise, if it had nothing to do with wins and losses, you would have thought he stayed in LA. But then one good podcast out there is when Tim Kawakami has Dylan Hernandez for the North South podcast so anything having to do with LA and the Bay Area, it's good because Tim used to work with Dylan Hernandez down there. He used to be a beat writer for the Lakers. And so Dylan Hernandez is like, I hope I got his name right. He's like, what happened, and this is the latest podcast that they had, so a couple days ago, LeBron, when it was revealed to LeBron that they did not have LeBron in their plans at all, because if you read this morning's article from Dave McMenamin of ESPN, he is the Lakers beat writer for ESPN. He is the equivalent of Anthony Slater for the Warriors, although he's actually done it longer there. Dave McTen, that's his nickname, that's his handle, said that Luka told Pelinka to get me an A-list center. And they better damn well listen to Luka, because he is going to become a free agent in 2 seasons. Sam Quinn of Third Apron, who is the co-host with Yossi Goslin, who, as I've told you before, I've done collabs with. He hopped on our live 3 days ago or 2 days ago. Man, every day passes so quickly. I can't even remember. Free agency is nuts. I can't believe he's been doing this for 10 years. What was I saying? His co-host, Sam Quinn, believes that the Lakers screwed up. he believes that Luka will look at this roster, that they will disappoint, that they will get knocked out by either OKC or the Spurs in the Western Conference semifinals. That is the furthest they'll ever go. And Luka, in the summer of 28, will go back to Dallas, because by then Cooper Flagg will be the real deal if he's not already. So that's why the Lakers had to kind of go, yeah, guess what, Bron? We've decided we're passing the torch over to Luka. Luka wants us to get a max salary for one of these dudes. And given that, let me do you a favor. You're not in our plans. You're free to go. Like, for me, we're not going to go out of our way to give you a non-taxpayer mid-level, blah, blah, blah. Certainly not above that. So just for your own sake, go be a free agent. LeBron's like, and this is Dylan Hernandez kind of, I'm embellishing it a little bit, but basically what Dylan Hernandez said was LeBron's reaction was probably, oh yeah, all right, okay. Let me show you. So that part of it kind of worries me, because the way to show him is probably not joining the Warriors. It's probably joining a true championship contender. Now, the other day, and I keep delaying the fact that we're going to jump into these cap sheets. Sorry about that. But the other day or yesterday, we looked at these standings and we're like, you know what? We can beat the Lakers. We can beat this team, right? Fully healthy, we can beat this team. Can we not? And then we go, wait a minute. Denver is having tons of issues with their second apron. They're in a spot where they're going to pay, 9 figures of tax unless they get rid of one of these guys. It's probably the safest scenario for them, Cam Johnson or Peyton Watson, pick one. But losing one of those guys, come on, we can beat Denver, right? Fully healthy. Now, yes, I know, 82-game grind. Yeah, how do we beat? We're not worried about, those teams. We're kind of worried about the ones down here, like, Portland. Oh, but wait a minute. Portland just got Ja Morant for some reason. So look, okay, if we got LeBron, how is Portland going to defend us? Dame's going to guard Steph. Ja's going to be on Pajemski. But we've got a pretty good front line now all of a sudden too. So I think Portland's beatable. Any one of these ones down here is beatable. And then I talked about the Lakers and then Houston. I'm pretty sure we all think that we can beat Houston on any given night. Like, Sengun does not frighten us at all. He didn't even play well against the Lakers. Kevin Durant was injured. So look, if we're going to worry about our guys being injured, then, they got to worry about their old guy being injured. Like, let's roll the ball out there. Let's play the Houston run. I think we can beat Houston right now, especially we got Yaxel. And yeah, they got Fred back, but, and then we come to Minnesota. And then we're like, oh, Minnesota's been our kryptonite. There's no way we were ever going to, not get bullied by Julius Randle and Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels. Wait a minute. They got rid of 2 of those guys. So it's only Gobert out there, and Jaden McDaniels survives. But our nemesis, Naz Reid, is gone. Our other nemesis, Julius Randle's gone. We match up against Minnesota way better now, thanks to their need to compete against OKC and the Spurs. So because of the Thunder and the Spurs, just like we probably can't beat those teams, they realized they can't. So they made a gamble on LaMelo Ball, and I would love to play against LaMelo Ball, So that's the pitch to LeBron. So I just killed 2 birds with one stone. I talked about some other teams here. We go back to Denver, and I pretty much can cross them off the list because they're already at the second apron right now, and they haven't paid Peyton Watson. Now, they'll probably just qualifying offer him. Yeah, but there's going to be some unrest there. I don't know. They'll probably just run it back, given this. And okay, if they run it back, then as a Warriors fan, especially those on Warriors Twitter, if you're going to discount our team, our own team, if you're going to make Warriors fans feel bad about the Warriors, something I would never do. In fact, I'm doing the opposite right now. Then you've got to project Denver the way you would project your own team, which is Aaron Gordon is often injured. So, like I would love to play Denver right now. Plus, we've got Yaxel now. Okay, so we've got a young buck we can throw on Aaron Gordon healthy. I like it. I like our chances, but that is what the pitch needs to be to LeBron, because the other choices are freaking nice, quite frankly. So let's take a look at Philly, and then we'll look at Cleveland. Philly looks like an exciting team to join right now. They've got some talent there. They haven't updated this yet. So let's go to cap sheets, because my guy Yossi Goslin, will have all updated. Okay, so I need to copy this, and I wonder if I can just copy the table and pray for the best. Let's see. Can we get lucky? I don't know. Just doing a copy paste here. Paste. Ooh, that's not bad. I can do paste special values. Paste special values. Booyah. Ha! Sorry. Sorry, Yossi. I stole your cap sheet just like that. All right, let's just unbold all of this, because these were colored in for Warrior's sake. Reset. Okay, so the total is 205 million. First apron. They're under the first apron. So first of all, they cannot. Let's get rid of these notes. Let's do this, and let's zoom in for your sake. Like this. There we go. Let's move this over. There you go. Although I need to show the second apron, so I need to reduce it by 1. That's as good as it gets, guys. Okay, so see, according to reports, it makes sense. These two guys add up to the non-taxpayer mid-level. So non-taxpayer mid-level used up here. These two guys, okay? Therefore, no non-taxpayer mid-level to LeBron. For who else did they get? They have the biannual exception, just like we used on DeAnthony. And I wonder if Cap Sheets has the list of exceptions. Expiration. Wait a minute. 4/11/20. Whoa, they only have 2 million left. Oh, they used it already? Let's look at the Warriors, because we know that they used it on Melton. So I can understand Yossi's notations. Okay, yeah, we used it on Melton. Okay, so they have 2 million left. And that's not enough for even the veterans minimum. So the veterans minimum would be for LeBron something like, it's not 2 million. It's, what is the NBA veterans minimum? 2026-27. What I should do is actually look at the AI cannot top the actual reported value by the NBA, which is right up here in the Dunleavy section on our free Discord. Oh, and the Minnesota Timberwolves can only afford the taxpayer mid-level, which we will look at in a moment. Here it is. Oh, he didn't list the biannual? Okay. What was I looking up? Non-taxpayer mid-level, room mid-level. Forgot what I was doing. Oh, veterans minimum. They didn't have it on there. Okay, so it's 2,449. Okay, years of experience. So LeBron would actually get a salary of 3.9 million. Okay, so 3.9 million is what they have here. That's all they can do. So Philly, 3.9 million. Philly can offer 3.9 million. Vet min. Let's check comments since they started rolling in when I started. Okay, what average 15 in the final 2 minutes? I don't know, but he might miss the first one and then counts as 0 for 2, which sucks. Benedict Mathurin, again, he's on a good contract with the Clippers, and they just traded for him, and they gave up Zubats for him. So why would they trade him, and for whom? $12 million qualifying offer. He probably wants an extension right now, so he's going to get paid right about now because the Clippers are kind of sort of rebuilding on the fly, and they have money to spend. They're going to spend it on Mathurin. There's no doubt about it. So no. Philippines added a 4 point. Oh, wow. Too much. What's up? Have I gone over Philly's cap sheet? Hey, we're doing it right now. Bron is waiting for the Warriors making a trade. No, we would. It all happens at once. Moody would be traded out. So Mike is doing the groundwork for that now. No, don't need to wait for us to make a trade. Do we need to lure LeBron by trading for? No. There's no other player to trade for. As I said at the top of the broadcast, the reason why we are stuck is because these three guys, these four guys, or these three guys up top. Now, Moody was in the other list. These three guys plus Moody are not healthy all the time. So we're stuck. Otherwise, you would think about trading one of these, and we're not trading Kristaps. I talked about that already. So for those entering the chat, I was told by Yossi Goslin that trading Porzingis would be like reneging on his deal. Not going to happen. GM Mike said players availability and turnover less. I think GM Mike also mentioned about athleticism. Again, we're stuck. So we picked Yaxel and Lejay, and those are pretty athletic guys. So that's all you get. Now, you can get a veterans minimum. I think Gary's pretty athletic, but we'll see. We'll see. Why Draymond opting out if LeBron not coming? Well, LeBron might not decide to come here because guess what? Jaylen Brown just got traded to a team that looks pretty enticing to play on. So things change, Dylan. Nothing's ever set in stone, and you got moving targets. It's not like NBA 2K. I think Cleveland, if he wants this new season with documentary, I think he has enough money. He can do a documentary whether it's Cleveland or not. If Bron joins the Sixers, it's a wrap. I don't think so because the problem with it being a wrap is that their highest paid player is injured, and who's going to cover Cat if Embiid's injured again? It's the same reason as every year, so it's not a wrap. Sign and trade for Pods Moody. I already told you why we wouldn't do that. So for those entering the chat, most important thing to learn from me tonight is that our cap, we have a lot of tons of cap space coming next summer, a la Lakers this week. Next, he's not going to Cleveland. Why would he play? Yeah. Dylan Brooks has not made a good comment in a while. Daddy Mex. Okay. Dylan Brooks is in the chat. Bron, Jokic, Gordon, front court would have to be the most physical front court. Yeah, it would be scary. So that's a veteran's minimum. You're going to a second apron team that can't take on any more salary. So let's conclusion. Denver looks like a second apron team that can't even afford a taxpayer mid-level equals LeBron at vet min there. Probably going to Warriors, Sixers, Heat, and the Nuggets. Well, I just crossed off the Nuggets, and we'll look at the Heat. Healthy Warriors with LeBron will demolish Lakers. Yay! He said something that I agree with. If Bron joining the Warriors, they will have the best small ball lineup. Yay! I agree. Well, I mean, it's debatable because they're old. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I don't really do the prediction thing myself. So I kind of, stay away from throwing down the gauntlet. I'm not a gauntlet thrower. Unless it has to do with cap sheets, then I just kind of go, factually, XYZ. Okay, none of the above. All right, then what is it? He retires? None of the above equals retirement, because we've pretty much ruled that one out. Hey, if Bron joining the Warriors, the lineup should be we're not starting Richard. He's a good backup guy. Today, Lakers is all about offense. Will Richard? Person turquoise riding headphones. Oh, Warriors fans look like this. Did you throw us under the bus, or did you give us something inspirational? I don't know. If you retracted your comment, StreamYard unfortunately doesn't delete them for me. He wants to play with 220 game scores. Huh? Why would Bron go to the Wizards? Exactly. He said Washington, and he likes the way they're setting up. And he's not going to the Wizards. That's a horrible place to go to. So he definitely wants to win. That's actually one worse destination than the Warriors in terms of wins and losses. Offense. What else? LeBron and his colleagues said he wants to say he's the greatest. He's not going to the Warriors, the Wizards. He's not going to the Wizards. If I am Bron, he should sign to the Warriors. I keep messing that up. He should sign to the Warriors. 4 major reasons. No. It's not going to the Wizards. The one major reason undermines all 4 of your reasons, and that is he doesn't want to lose. Definitely doesn't want to lose. Now, everybody thinks we're going to lose, even Warriors Twitter. I'm the only guy that actually thinks we're going to win. I think we have a legitimate shot at the 3rd seed, believe it or not. Just because all these teams are, on their way down or made weird trades. I'm not saying that Minnesota's trade was weird. I totally get it. But the Portland one was weird. And it feels like, well, they're going to add Fred. So maybe Houston and the Lakers go up. Denver, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about Denver. We can beat Denver. The West is stacked because of the illusion that it's stacked from OKC and the Spurs. And at their best, these are all good teams, definitely. But so are we. So if you're going to look at them at their best, then you got to look at us our best. You can't move the goalposts for the Warriors. And that includes actually Warriors Twitter. Jaylen Brown is not analytics haven. Whatever, man. You wouldn't have said that. Like, yeah, he's not. I mean, he did a lot this year, and he got Eastern Conference Finals MVP and Finals MVP. Let's stop throwing Jaylen under the bus under any circumstances. He's already got enough of that. Utah Jazz, yeah, there you go. Utah Jazz are going to be good, but they're inexperienced. So let's look at their roster. Actually, we'll go to cap sheets because I can't trust Hoops Hype for giving me the most recent roster. So this might be a matchup issue for us, although, yeah, because they got Darren Peterson at the 2. So on paper, but what they don't have is chemistry and experience. In that case, they probably win the regular season games against us, but then if we hit the playoffs, then we beat them in the playoffs, you know. Jimmy and Moses come back. What do you think the starting lineup will be? You know what? I'll tell you what the closing lineup will be. The closing lineup will be Steph, Jimmy. Moses isn't coming back with LeBron, so that undermines your Moses is traded out if LeBron comes, though. But anyways, it was going to be Steph, Jimmy. The 3 is LeBron. I'm going to start Yaxel and have Draymond finish. So my finishing lineup is, it might be Yaxel at the 5. I think he can get there by game 82. Yeah. Side poll. Is Yaxel in the finishing lineup by game 82? Am I really that far behind? Damn. I'll never get done. Okay. Wonder if KD be willing to come. Nope. KD doesn't want to come here. KD does not want to come here because if we win, he will not be appreciated. And if we lose, he will be blamed. Basically, he spends too much time on Twitter. That's why he's not coming. Oh, man. Yeah, there are going to be quite a few low probability. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's whatever LeBron feels like on the day that he's deciding this. With Sixers getting Jaylen Brown, they're unstoppable if they're healthy, but they still need a center. And if Embiid is not healthy, that's a problem. Don't trade Jimmy. Yeah, we're not. Nobody wants Jimmy right now. I know LeBron said he's ready to accept minimum. No, let's not twist words. No, never said that. He said he wants happiness. You're equating that with the vet min. So you're drawing a conclusion that's too soon. We don't know yet. We need to make an impactful move. I already told you we can't make an impactful move. Oh, man. Okay. You missed it in the beginning. Are we trying to sign Zion? No. It's not even a rumor. It's a lie. No reason to get Zion. You've been lied to. Not getting Katie. I've done one cap sheet in an hour and 20 minutes. Let's get the comments better. You guys just let them know. What does reneging mean? That means shaking your hand, agreeing to a deal, then turning around and trading you away, which is apparently bad. I got to be careful. I feel like I'm losing patience. So don't be impatient, Rich. Don't be impatient. Just people are joining the chat late. You have explained everything. You're at a point where you're repeating yourself. Be patient. Be patient. Bron wants to play with his friend Steph. That'd be nice. We talked about Anthony Davis. We talked about Jimmy Butler. Not going to happen. Somebody made a joke about Bronny. It's preventing me from getting to the cap sheet, but okay. When I start Yaxel, I just told you what I thought about Yaxel. Major matchup issues with the Jazz. Okay. They got matchup issues too. So we'll see. Mr. Nostradamus in the house. Like me saying that we match up well with the Jazz is just as good as you saying we match up well with the Jazz right now. Can we just roll the ball out and have at least one game under our belt? Like, you know, so I'm going to look at the positive. So you will not make me feel bad about my team. Okay. Just join. Can you do this? No. Read. Read the chat. The answer's no. Why? First thing I put in the chat. We have a cap sheet that is completely not completely, almost completely empty next summer. So let's move on to the next team, which is Cleveland. So we figured out Philly. Oh no, Cleveland we already figured out. If I scroll up, conclusion, no, Denver looks like a second apron team. So they were already at 215 million. So let's do Cleveland. See how they're doing. Copy this and erase this and go over to Donovan Mitchell and company. Edit, paste special values, paste. And there's our squad. I got to delete a couple guys. They don't have a 13th, 14th, 15th player either. So let's put 15 here. And let's put 15 back on Philly. We'll call this Cavs. And we got to fill this roster out. So we're going to need 2 veteran minimums. And what is the veteran minimum again? It was 2,449,421. That's the cap charge, 2-year veteran. Vet min. They project to be, oh, they haven't signed James Harden. So let's move everybody down. And let's put James Harden right here. And let's go look at Hoops Hype. Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's look at his salary from last season. It was 39 mil. So he also, I think, did a favor by opting out. So let's go to SpotTrack. SpotTrack.com, James Harden, and go look at the details of his contract. Contract terms, burn rates, unrestricted free agent, player option. Let's see, guaranteed. Declined. Yep, he had a player option and he declined it. Okay. And he made 42 million. So this is tricky. Let's zero this out. We got a vet min here. Are all these guaranteed? Player option on Craig Porter. Why not? It's less than a veteran's minimum. You want to save some money here. To me, Craig Porter's a no-brainer. Under the tax right now. So if they made this LeBron, non-taxpayer mid-level, LeBron, we would have to pay him $15,044,000. Okay. At that point in time, they would need to stay under the first apron. So really, it's these two cells are in play. These two ones in gray. Bold that, James Harden, LeBron. And how much can you pay James Harden? You can pay him $10 million. So what that tells you is that the non-taxpayer mid-level is not realistic. So Cavs non-taxpayer mid-level. So not realistic. No LeBron via no NTMLE for LeBron. So let's copy this, duplicate. Now let's look at Cavs using the taxpayer mid-level, which is only 6 million. So now let's zero this out. Zero this out. You need to stay under the second apron. Taxpayer mid-level exception, LeBron. And what is the taxpayer mid-level? Let's see. Taxpayer mid-level. 6064. Is that right? Did I get that right before? Oh, well, we'll just put it in. 6064. That leaves 20 million. 19 for Harden. That still seems a little low. I don't think he wants to get paid that little. Let's call this sort of not realistic. Maybe he would take a discount. I don't know. So there's your answer. Cavs. Big time maybe. Big time maybe not on 6 million taxpayer mid-level. Therefore, probably a vet min for LeBron. Yeah, let's take a screenshot of this. There we go. Next one. Miami. And for good measure, we'll do Denver as well. Cap sheets, Miami Heat. Look at that, Giannis. Edit, pay special values. They don't have these guys. And I don't need to bold this anymore. Clear that out. And they need to fill at least 2 more spots. So let's put in a veterans minimum, another veterans minimum. How much was the veterans minimum again? 2449421. 2449421. Yep, it's this one. Thomas Bryant. It's making a minimum. Okay, we're filling out that roster. They got Tim Hardaway. How do they pay for that? They could trade out Davion Mitchell. Let's see, 203. They need to stay under the first apron, no doubt. So first apron hard cap due to acquiring Giannis and not sending back the same amount, I think it was. I think that's why. Man, they could have signed Andrew Wiggins for like different structure, but I think what happened here, I talked about this last live stream. I think Wiggins got another offer. So he was like, well, all things being equal, I'll stay here if you just let me opt in on this one, and then I'll make the same amount. The benefit to you is that I stay, I'm your wing, I'm a two-way defender and offense, and next season, my contract will go so far less than this season. Yeah, what was his contract that he signed? Let's see. Spot track, Andrew Wiggins. I don't know if they've updated it yet. I would think so because it's an extension. Yep. Two years, 64. No, that doesn't make sense. That it was guaranteed upcoming extension. 2 years, 64 million. That doesn't, no. It's 64 million for the 3 years. So it's a 2-year, 34 million extension. Yeah, right here. 34 million. That's weirded funny. I mean, that's worded funny. I don't know why they said it that way. But yeah, he'll make 17 mil there. It's 40%. What is a 40% pay cut? Let's see. 30 million times 40%. 12 million. So it's above 40%. So they can give him a pay cut like that. Okay. So Andrew Wiggins, cool. I mean, they could have, had they known, I don't think they were really thinking they'd get LeBron. Otherwise, they would have negotiated harder with Wiggins, I guess. That makes sense because LeBron would be only for 1 year. Everybody thinks he's going to retire next season. So why would you risk your Wiggins contract negotiations with LeBron? You don't want to mess up the Wiggins relationship there. So plus he probably got another offer somewhere. So I don't think Miami's, really in play. But we'll do this anyways. And they cannot do a non-taxpayer mid-level here. So let me just put in LeBron. It's going to be 15 million for. It's going to take them way over the first apron. It just doesn't work. NTME does not work. Like, not only would you need to trade out, you just got Bobby Portis, so you're not trading. You'd have to trade Nikola Jovic. The bigger the salary, the harder it is to trade. And how many picks do they have? They'd have to send out a pick, and they just used a bunch of picks. 1 second-round pick. I think they're stuck. I don't know, because this contract is overvalued. Jovic does not play well enough to warrant a $16 million contract, even though he still has good potential. And gosh, that or Davion Mitchell has to go. Trade out? Question mark. What if they traded out Davion? Made it a veterans minimum. Just copy that in here. 206. Okay. There. That's good. So they either need to trade, they could trade Bobby Portis because they just got him from Milwaukee, and you don't necessarily need to be happy with that. So you could trade out him. Yeah, there's some stuff they could do. NTMLE does not work as is without trade. They just got Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't even know how they signed him. Let's look him up. Tim Hardaway Jr. Non-taxpayer mid-level. Oh, so they've already used it. Sorry. This was non-taxpayer mid-level. So C Hardaway already used 6.5 of it, so they can only pay LeBron 15 million minus 6.5. Glad I looked that up. So it's equals 15 million minus the Tim Hardaway figure. Most they could pay him is 8 million, and they're just barely, that it does. You don't even need to worry about these trade outs. They can only pay him 8.5 million. Miami can only pay LeBron 8.5 million. We're done with that one. Denver. Any other team? Oh, Minnesota. Let's look at Minnesota. Because Denver, we already know they're capped out. Mini. Okay, what else you guys got here? I should actually take a screenshot just so we have it. Spacing would be horrible. No, we got Steph though. I mean, what can we do? Maybe it's Yaxel. Steph, Jimmy, LeBron, Draymond, Yaxel with space. He can shoot threes. The longer a player plays for the same team, that player's contract. That's way too brainy for me. I don't know. I'm having trouble just, keeping up, let alone try and think ahead for stuff technically you need a law degree to decide on that, because the NBA, they just hire a bunch of lawyers. You basically need a law degree if you want to work on the business side of the NBA. So let them figure it out. That's way above my pay grade. And even if I wanted to be, I just wouldn't want to be a lawyer. I mean, there's a reason I'm here with you guys rather than sitting in an office, litigating. I just don't, that doesn't interest me at all. Moody for 2 picks, but here's the problem. The problem is his injury would be used as a negotiation tactic. So I would love to get 2 second-round picks, even 1, but I don't know if it's possible. I have to be honest with you. Get Gary Trent at the minimum. All right, but what about all the other teams too? Like, that's why I don't really like veterans minimums don't float my boat all that much. It's like, okay, you got so-and-so at a veterans minimum. Okay. I mean, the market is limited, so it's whatever. And there's so many different reasons guys sign wherever. You never know. They might have a cousin that lives in, wherever it is, Philly. So I don't know. Just don't be mad if we don't get Gary Trent Jr. Like, I think that's my fear, even though I don't want to have any fears in my life. That is the whole point of being a human being, is to conquer your own fears. And once you do that, if you happen to do that before the last day of your life, then the thing that you need to do is try and spread that knowledge and try and spread love rather than fear. So I'm trying to spread the love here. And one thing I would hope that you do is not get mad on who we pick up as a veterans minimum, because it's just so fluid and random almost. It's like, it's a veterans minimum. A veterans minimum is probably not going to impact a game unless it's half the roster's injured or out for a back-to-back game, and it's Pat Spencer doing the I'm that MFer, type of game. Then that'll change one game, or in his from his perspective, 3 games. No, it was 4 games. I wrote about it on the community post on YouTube here. 4 games that he changed the course of. Although the one against OKC, we lost. And then it was like Philly, Cleveland, Chicago. And what a week. And then he signed the contract. And then he went back to normal Pat Spencer. No more MFer after that. Huh. Strange, huh? Yeah. So the veterans minimum guy, all you can hope for is a little bit of mofo or Linsanity. Although, was Lin a veterans minimum at the time? I'll bet you he was. Anything else I missed? They'd have to trade Mobley or Allen. Yeah. Is it worth trading Mobley or Allen for LeBron? I don't think so. It's a lot. Okay. Well, I don't know if I missed your comment, but I will proceed with Minnesota. And we will copy the sheet. This is good for me too, because I never get a real chance to really plug them into spreadsheets, and every little bit of reps. I've always described this like, honestly, like Steph shooting threes. Like, you need your reps. So we're getting our reps right now, and it's good for you guys to get reps too. So let's paste special values. And now we have Minnesota with 4 slots empty, or at least 3. Delete all that. Interesting that we have the Minnesota Timberwolves before us. So they are between first apron and second apron. Therefore, they cannot offer a non-taxpayer mid-level unless they trade one of these guys, and all these guys seem like they want to keep. Now, they could trade one of these two. And these guys make too little. So what if we traded Dante DiVincenzo? So let's fill in these veterans minimums. And we'll even give them the benefit of wait, did they have a second round pick? Even if they didn't, let's just give them a rookie minimum just to be nice. Boom. There's your rookie minimum. So rookie min, vet min, total 218. And we're trading out Dante, so 0 that out. Actually make it a vet min. So you get, you got to fill the spot with somebody. 208, but you're under the second apron, so you couldn't have actually, no, you can trade them out and then you'd be under the first apron, but you wouldn't have any money to spend on the non-taxpayer. So what if we traded out Josh Green? So let's undo this. Let's trade out Josh Green. Let's make him a veterans minimum because he's a more expensive. If we trade Josh, then we could trade Dante, in other words, because he's a bigger contract. And let's see what happens here. We are at 206. We're below the first apron, so we can use a non-taxpayer mid-level, but with all these locked in, right? We're not trading any of these guys. Can't trade Rudy. You need a center, and quite frankly, he's played to that level. Honestly, he's been impressive to me, actually. Like, didn't think he would still be as serviceable as he is, even though, yeah, Wemby got him, but that's Wemby. There's no need to throw Gobert under the bus because Wemby ate him for lunch. And they need to go get another center. So that's your problem. I think that's your problem. Need a center at a veterans minimum. Oh man, so no non-taxpayer mid-level. So NTMLE, LeBron, too close to first apron. Can't work. Even with the trade out. Even with trade out. So let's copy this and make this actually Minnesota NTMLE, and make this a little smaller. Actually, I'll use small letters. Cleveland taxpayer. Miami. And what are these? Oh, let's call this tax melt mo pots. Philly. Now I can see all my tabs here. Let's duplicate this, and then we're going to try taxpayer mid-level. Should work. Taxpayer mid-level extension, LeBron. That was 6064. And we're under the second apron, so they can go and actually Josh Green, I need to restore his contract, which was 14,679,012. Oh, they're over the second apron. Love it. Oh, love it. Sends them over second apron. So I don't think they can afford to, I mean, unless you don't have to pay them the full $6 million. So we can delete these. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. It's pretty close because you're at 222. 221 is your second apron. So Mini can offer LeBron the taxpayer mid-level at best. $6 million. So let's end that poll. Everybody voted for Philly. The thing is now that you need to consider the human side of things too. So let's consider human factors. There's we should rate these, but there's championship contending, and then there's LA lifestyle. So there's money, lifestyle, and contending. Anything else? Factors for LeBron. Legacy? No. I mean, legacy is something fans think of. He has a legacy. He's like the only guy that really worries about that stuff is anybody that spends too much time on Twitter. That could be KD, Jaylen Brown. Actually, no, Jaylen Brown is more what a reporter said. Like, he's not worried about some guy tweeting. KD does. I don't think LeBron worries about some guy tweeting, and he doesn't worry about reporters. In fact, he's already got a lot of reporters that are going to write his legacy. So I will disagree with you on the legacy part. LeBron cares more about getting a chip than anything. Well, that wasn't the case. That was not the case a month ago. That's why everyone thought he would stay. So that remains to be seen. I do not agree necessarily. Spurs and Wizards. Okay, we're not doing the Wizards for the umpteenth time. LeBron, nobody wants to go to the Wizards. If his best friend, Anthony Davis, doesn't want to play there, why the hell would he play there? Now, okay, he wants to play there because of Anthony Davis. Well, the problem with that is that they don't win. They have no chance. They're even worse than the Warriors on, the prognosticator on the betting sites. So I gotta disagree with you on the Wizards thing. But yeah, you joined late and we already got rid of the Wizards. So let's do another one. Spurs. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can offer non-taxpayer SAS. Let's go look at their probably very, very clean cap sheet. Probably pristine. Probably very, very enviable cap sheet. All right, so let's erase that, make that regular, and delete all these notes. Only 195 million committed. That's so small. That's so unfair. We're gonna populate this one with the veterans minimum right here. They're under the tax, so they can open up a non-taxpayer mid-level. They're under the tax, and they've got a full squad. Man, that's so unfair. Okay, so they can easily stay under the first ape. And wait a minute, Jaden Quaid. Wait, did they get 2 first rounders? Yeah, they did, huh? Golly. Because I was expecting one of these to be a rookie minimum, and it's double that or more. They already signed Harrison Barnes, so they can't move him. Locked in. Like, all of these guys are locked in. I guess you could trade Cornette. Tobias is locked in. Oh, the non-taxpayers got already been used. We don't need to do this. So, yeah. NTMLE already used. So really, we're just doing taxpayer mid-level. Oh, no. No, they're under the, yeah, that's it. They got the biannual. I wonder, can they use the biannual? Let's see. Yep. 5477. So let's change this. Biannual exception, Bay. They could just add them at the biannual. So Spurs can pay Bron maximum of 5.5 million using the BAE. Okay. Seems like the Warriors are prioritizing size in the front court. They're prioritizing the best player available with the Axel. It's not about anything else. Who else were you going to pick? It's not like, I mean, of course you would want more size than, I mean, they're about to pick Braden Burries. So they just need anybody that'll improve the team. It's not about, that's the priority. So I don't mean to nitpick. So that's all. I'm just nitpicking. Okay. I don't know if I missed your comment, just type it in again because I can check it now. But any other teams? So given that, then, so if you're LeBron, what are the, we said Philadelphia would be a, what do we say, veterans minimum? Got to go way back. Don't forget, the Warriors have like 5-star everything. We can do Denver. Let's just do Denver for the sake of doing Denver. Philly. Shoot, can't remember what I said about Philly. Miami can only pay LeBron $8.5 million. Really? Oh yeah, they already used that. So Philly's way above that. Hopefully my comment is still around. Philly can offer 3.9 million vet men. Yeah. Which counts against the cap as 2.45 million, but they have a full squad. What else are they doing here? Not trading any of these guys. Not trading Phylon. Probably keeping Barlow. That's a pretty cheap salary. They just got Hug Porty. I guess it's easy to get rid of one of these guys. So, you're going to have to keep Bona because you need a backup for Embiid. Sam Quinn and Yossi Goslin theorized that they could trade Joel Embiid. And that would be a way to get LeBron because that'll clear up some space. But I don't think anybody wants to touch him. The one team that made sense for them apparently was the Charlotte Hornets because they could absorb more. But how many more picks do you have left for Philly? You have to, yeah, Embiid would be like no picks. Yeah. So injured. So we were talking about Philly. They got a full squad. I don't know what you would do here. Yeah, you could get rid of Broom. So LeBron, only vet men available. Can trade out a minimum player. So Philly, let's see. What's a fair, there's no fair poll because everybody thinks as of today he's going to Philly. Why do you got to say people suck? Golly, you can't help it. Just want to throw somebody under the bus. You're saying empty cap sheet, but how does that change anything, even if Jimmy are on expirings? Jimmy's expiring adds value at the trade deadline. Huh? I'm saying next summer, we don't have that much committed salary, so we can go shopping for free agents, just like the Lakers just did last week. How about the Thunder? This has been brought up. There, not even Yossi Goslin is looking at this. And okay. The optics of that would just be poor. For OKC, in fact. What is this? Tobias Harris. Oh, San Antonio. We just did San Antonio and we did, oh yeah. So we were going to look at Denver. I'll do that. I'll do OKC after Denver. Just check off the box. Denver. They got some problems. The least desirable cap sheet in the NBA right now. Bet you didn't know that. You know how I know that? I listen to Yossi Goslin. Really, that's my secret. I'm giving it away to you. I'm not gatekeeping Yossi Goslin. You listen to every single one of his podcasts, you will know as much as I know. You will not be intimidated by these spreadsheets. Go do it. You'll be a smarter commenter on Let's Go Warriors. Just kidding. Okay, let's see. 216 already. And they got to fill out some spots. So let's put in some vet mins here. And boy, I don't even know if they can do a rookie minimum, but I'll just be generous and give them one. Rookie min, probably not. And then boom, boom. They got Tyus Jones. So he's locked in. They got Bagley. They just got these guys, so they're not trading those. And, oh, they'll probably waive Jonas Valanciunas. But then they need a center. They're going to need a backup center. Okay. Man, I'd rather, if I were them, I'd get Bassi. I like Bassi. He might be a little small in comparison to Jokic, which kind of throws off everything. But if they waive him, then he has a charge of, let's see, Valanciunas. Spotrac says where's the guaranteed? $2 million guaranteed. So let's just waive him. So now he's 2 million. Created a little space. You're definitely not under the luxury tax unless you trade one of these guys. The problem is we're gonna assume they're not trading these guys. So Nicola's locked in. Let's assume locked in for these two guys, even though there was a pretty cool Yossi and Sam suggested maybe a good destination for Jamal Murray was Portland, but then Portland went and got Ja Morant, so it's not Portland anymore. That's not a good landing spot, but you never know. You never know. So I'm going to assume they keep those guys, and we're going to go assume no one wants this contract. Why? Because it's going to inflate, I think. I'm not sure. Or did it already? Yeah, we're in the extension part of it. So it's so long-term. That's the problem. Nobody wants to have more than 75 million committed past this year to Christian Brown. It limits your flexibility, and he's not an all-star or fringe all-star type, so it's just not worth the headache of that. But at the time he signed it, they just came off of a championship, right? No, he was a rookie. Whatever. It's not my place to judge why they did that, but they're stuck. I feel like they're stuck with him long term. So now you're down to Cam Johnson. And if they traded him, we would do, let's go ahead and do, let's just trade him. Got under the tax. Okay, so let's try non-taxpayer mid-level. Oh. I don't even know if I actually am doing this the correct way or not, but at least the resulting spreadsheet should be pretty spot on to what the final one will be. You'd think they would get something back, but let's say they just dumped them. got a 3 second rounders for him or something. Yeah, there's not enough left to pay LeBron. And I just dumped the most realistic one you could dump. Unless you're dumping Aaron Gordon. I don't know. How much has he got left on his contract? I guess it's not that bad. 3 more years in total. All right, let's trade out. Now you can do it. I don't think that would be good optics, right? I traded Aaron Gordon to get LeBron. That makes no sense. You have a lot of explaining to do to your season ticket holders. Okay, that's doable, but let's do another one. And let's say they just keep them. So one thing Yossi and Sam Quinn said was that why not just go into the second apron? So maybe we'll try that. So let's fix this. And let's assume he's locked in. Let's assume Cam Johnson's locked in. Would Bron come off the bench, though? He's going to have to come off the bench. Huh. Also, he'd come off the bench for Miami, right? Or would he? Is he a starter? Yeah, he'd have to come off the bench. Huh. Let's just ask that in the poll, because that's kind of a 50-50 question. Would Bron be okay with coming off the bench? I don't think so. I think he wants to, resume normal LeBron, have a normal LeBron season. So Wiggins is in the spot, right? Yeah, Wiggins and Bam. LeBron would come off the bench. Bam's the 5, Giannis is the 4. Let's check these other teams, in fact. He could start for Cleveland. Starting 3. Donovan's the 2. Yeah. He'd start ahead of Max Strus. Starts at the 3. Did we do Philly? VJ would come off the bench behind Jalen. If there was Bron, let's see. No, Bron would, yeah, they got Dean Wade, so he'd start. But they used up the non-taxpayer. So, yeah, let me just do this. LeBron starts over Dean Wade at the 3. No, at the 4, because Jalen is going to start at the 3. It's kind of a small team, but then Embiid balances it out if he's healthy. Minnesota, let's see, he'd start at the 4. Too close to first apron, so let's get the taxpayer, sends them over second apron, man. least he would start there. Starts at the 4. Yeah. San Antonio. De'Aaron. Yeah, he could start at the 4. It's not really their style. I think he'd have to come off the bench because you just went to the finals with your 5, and Dylan Harper came off. Comes off bench. Went to finals. Denver, what do we say? Aaron Gordon out. So Bron in for AG out. Seems bad. And here we were gonna add it all up. That sends them. They can't use the non-taxpayer mid-level. They have to use the taxpayer mid-level. And that is 6064 million. Oh, somehow they're under the second apron. Yeah, because the taxpayer mid-level is so small comparatively. Okay, you have to waive JV, but let's see. Is he starting ahead of Cameron Johnson? Okay. Starts at the 3. I guess Cam playing the 2? I don't know. He can start at the 3. OKC is definitely not starting for OKC. I can tell you that. All right, let's check comments. Run it back. We're the only channel that is okay with running it back. We're the only channel that realizes that there's really no choice but to run it back. Yeah, I already went through it. Weren't you here earlier? Unsung Stranger, you were here earlier, right? The reason why we're running it back is because these 3 guys at the top of our salary cap sheet are all non-82 game players. So there's not much you can do when you're limited to all of that. And then the next guy on the list, we're not trading Draymond. After all, he did a favor to Mike. Mike isn't going to trade him. And that's why Moses Moody is the next man down after that. Oh, by the way, Moses is also injured. So that's why you are running it back. Otherwise, we would have had a gazillion Moses Moody trade scenarios. Stop it. Oh, we're running it back. Well, duh. What did you want us to do? Trade an injured guy? The Celtics did not want Jimmy Butler, man. If Spurs got Kuminga, what is that? What? Huh? Well, the Lakers are looking at Kuminga. And yeah, he might end up on the Spurs. You never know. They've got enough space, I would believe. Let's do OKC just for the hell of it. Yeah, LeBron doesn't want to come off the bench, huh? So we can strike out those guys. I think it comes down to Philly, huh? Cleveland is Philly and same old. Philly, Cleveland. Miami's coming off the bench. So that ain't happening. And Minnesota was problematic. We'll run through all of those one more time. OKC. Shea is the third highest paid player, believe it or not. Barely, though. Okay. There we go. Wow. Excuse me. Full squad. Way over the apron, second apron. So there's a lot of talk of them sending out Lou Dort. Yeah. So the interesting thing is all the bottom guys are locked in. I guess that's, cap sheet nirvana. These three are locked in. They just signed Kenrich. Mara, they just drafted. Wallace is such a great contract. So is Jay Will by that manner. And all these guys, they just extended Isaiah. So all of these guys you're probably not trading. And so what does that leave you? Dort. So let's just trade him out for the purposes of this. Even though this is silly. First of all, LeBron is coming off the bench. So trade out Dort. You're out of vet min. You're under the second apron and coming off the bench. So we can strike out all the teams where he's coming off the bench, right? What other team is there? Oh, the Knicks. Okay. Warriors want Rui. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, so we probably misunderstood you. Unsung stranger. Oh, you're welcome. Marvin Bagley. So let's look at the Knicks. That's true. That's been reported. Speaking of tons and tons of hitting the apron, this should be fun. New York Knicks. Okay. Ooh, they still got a lot of spots to fill. All these guys are out. Let's clear the deck. Put a vet min and a rookie min just to be generous. What do we got here? No, here. Okay. Just signed Shamit, so all these guys are locked in. Can't trade any of these guys. Just signed Jose. Did they just sign Miles? I don't think so, huh? He it's been rumored that our Yossi and Sam have been able to move him And these three guys, like nobody wants. So let's check the length of those contracts. Okay. Team option. Daddy. Oh, they must have exercised it because it's in black. Diawara. I think they, yeah. Pretty sure they locked in Diawara because they like him. He's like one of the, up and coming guys that is rare to have on a championship team. But let's look him up anyways. Diawara. Just out of curiosity. There's 2 Diawaras? Didn't know that. 2 Diawaras in the NBA. Estimate, trade restriction. Yep, cannot be traded. 4 years, 10 million. There you go. Ah, yeah, that's a smart. Look out for New York, man. They got smart general management. Okay, Kolek and Pekka. Let's just check these guys. Make sure they're tradable or not. Club option next year. Kolek guaranteed, so they can trade him, even though it's a below a minimum though. So you wouldn't want to trade that out because you need his paltry salary to take up a space. Daddy and Miles McBride. Team option, so they probably picked him up. Deadline exercised. Club option. 4 years. Yeah, I think they could trade him if he wants. Okay. Tradable. And then McBride. Go to Spot Track. McBride. Where are you? Yeah, so he can be traded 26, 27. Yeah. So we're gonna trade Miles McBride. Trade out. Turn that into a vet min. And we are at 4 million under the second apron. Utilize the taxpayer mid-level on LeBron. And then, what is my taxpayer mid-level? 6 million. What are we at? Oh, we're barely under. Okay, it works. NYK can pay LeBron maximum of 6 million taxpayer mid-level. NYK can pay LeBron a max of 6 million. Cool. Screenshot that. Now, would he start or come off the bench? Yeah, he's coming off the bench. Comes off the bench because Mikhail's the 3 and OG's the 4. And you're not going to start as a 2 guard. In fact, Josh Hart's going to start. Sorry. And obviously Jalen Brunson has to start. So he's coming off the bench, so we can strike that off. Interestingly enough, I really do think that's a factor. I could just not see him come off the. It's the same thing as Michael Jordan. You don't. The Wizards don't go out and get Michael Jordan and have him come off the bench, right? So we can, So here are all the teams where Bron comes off the bench. And by the way, just going through this exercise, I hadn't even thought about that, but just the fact that we're just talking ourselves through this stuff, peeling the onion many, many layers, and just going down a rabbit hole, because that's what YouTube, it's very niche-y. That's what we do, nerds that go down certain rabbit holes. That's what happens on YouTube. So New York, OKC, starts at the 3 for Denver. San Antonio, so he's not going to San Antonio. See, so when you have these debates, whether it's in real life with somebody or on Twitter, you can go, oh, by the way, I don't think he's even going to start. Can you really picture LeBron coming off the bench? Sorry, I just don't agree with you for these amount of teams. Miami, so we can strike 2 teams that were rumored already. We can strike out. Cleveland, he starts at the 3 instead of Max Strus. Philly, he starts at the 4 instead of Dean Wade. And by the way, they need more 4s, but LeBron would be the 4. So it's a good fit. But they need a backup 4 in here, unless it's Jabari Walker. I don't know. Hugporty's going to back up Embiid, right? And maybe Bona, yeah. So Philly's, hold on, let me get a tissue. So I don't know about Philly, but no, I do know about Philly. Looks like a good fit, honestly. So I wonder. Wow, it was the votes for Bron being willing to come off the bench were 10-0, and then all of a sudden, what's 36% out of 25 divided by 4? 9. So he got 9 out of the next 15 votes. That's crazy. These are the teams where he comes off the bench. So I don't think those work. And something came through the wire. Let's check Discord. Let's go up to NBA or Bay Live feed. Let's just scroll down. Free throw rule. What's this? Kyle Lowry retires, or one-day contract with the Raptors. Oh, that's gonna be so nice. Hug Kawhi. Dave Fleming. Jake Fisher. As the free agent market moves along, Golden State have both pitched the remaining 4. Yeah, because, well, we always thought about that with the Warriors. Is, I said this last live stream, either we were going to get LeBron, maybe Rui if you don't get LeBron, okay? So I guess the next live is check out all the other places Rui would want to go. But yeah, so I think Rui is the backup plan. There's no other way to do it. There really isn't. And yeah, so I think what this means is if the Warriors get Rui, then Moses is gone. He's still gone. You gotta make room for the guy. But it makes sense. Aren't they pretty much the same type of player? Rui's a slightly taller Moody and probably doesn't have as good defense. So let's end that poll. Interesting. There is a God. So would you be okay with trading out Moses to make room for Rui? Let's see. Well, I tell you what, it would hopefully it's just a 1-year contract. And that makes it hard because there might be another team that offers him more years. Again, I don't think we do it if Rui wants more than a year guaranteed. I'll be surprised, but you know, I'm learning. I'm not always right. Next July is going to be so much fun if we just, not that Rui's contract would ruin it or anything. Like, I think with LeBron, I think both parties know that it's just for 1 year because he might retire. And hey, it's LeBron. Maybe he is worth another year of 15 million. Maybe that can be considered a bargain, but it sure would be nice to really have a clean slate next summer and not be burdened by a guaranteed money to Rui. So I'm going to say I don't want Rui if it's more than this year. So don't forget that. There's nobody, no other Warriors reporter would ever say that because nobody else is reporting that next season, next summer, 365 days from now, we get to go on a shopping spree. I like that. And I think we can tread water for a year and just get the year by. I know everybody's like, oh, let's not waste Steph Curry. Like, I mean, what else are we going to do? Like, there's just, you know, if it came down to LeBron for 1 year or Rui for 2 years, I'm just going to take LeBron for 1 year. In fact, if it came down to Rui for 2 years or just roll everything back and not have the free agent, therefore you can pay Melton a little bit more with the taxpayer mid-level, because then you would pay Draymond what? I think it's like 20 million. I'd rather do that. Let's build the spreadsheet for that actually. Here, let's do this. Actually, I have it with no LeBron. Duplicate. No non-taxpayer mid-level. So we would just make that Moody 12.5. He's easy to remember. And there's no free agent, so we'll just open up a veterans minimum. Delete all that. Zero him out because we're going to figure out how much we can pay him. Make Moses Moody still a Warrior. Make this a veterans minimum. Let's go. What's the veterans minimum? 2 for 5 or? Give me a veterans minimum. There it is. 2449421. And we're gonna keep Quentin Post at his 2650. Although he may not be around. I realize that. So let's call this veterans minimum. Vet min. Bold it because we're gonna pick a guy. 188. And Melton will get the taxpayer mid-level, which is 6064. 6064. 189. Am I missing anybody? No, I think we're good. Let me do this. There, we got 15. Will Richard, Vetman, Quinton Post. Matter of fact, we can match Quinton Post. Let's see. What if we gave Draymond 20 million? Yeah, we got tons of room here, huh? Because we reduced Kristaps, his salary, we reduced by 18 million. Yeah. We can just pay him what we were paying him before, 27 million. And then we can, yeah, just then we'll wait and see what Quinton Post is offered. So again, I would rather just have the normal team than Rui for 2 years. Like, I want to empty the cap sheet next summer. Isn't Rui almost like Yaxel, who shoots the three well? Yeah, he's almost like Moody, but he's a taller Moody. Yeah, so for me, it all comes down to the length of the Rui contract, because I believe no, I mean, I would be okay with LeBron for 2 years. I think we would make it partially guaranteed, just like Kristaps, because of the age. Two years guaranteed would be a no. Assume LeBron has second year non-guaranteed due to age. So I hope I explained that one. It's my first time thinking about that because it's breaking news. Anything else? Minnesota. Oh, Minnesota. Let's go back to Minnesota. So they can open up a non-taxpayer, huh? Too close to first apron. Yeah, so they're going to trade somebody. Okay. Wait a minute. Too close. They're going to trade both Josh Green and Dante? Too close to first apron. What did I mean by that? I've got to figure this out. Let me just duplicate this, even though something's wrong with that. I can't remember. Minnesota, Rui. Let's go non-taxpayer, 0 for 4, 1, 2, 3. Let's delete this. And how are you guys doing this, Minnesota? You got to imagine that if the Warriors are competing against you. By the way, I don't know how it can be. It can't be Rui and LeBron. It just can't. How would you do this? Unless LeBron came on a minimum, because you're committing DeAnthony to the taxpayer. You're committing them to the biannual or the taxpayer. So yeah, don't know how we're gonna get Rui and LeBron. It has to be Rui or LeBron. Back to Minnesota, Rui. I already traded Josh Green. Let's write his name in. TPMLE, there it is. Vetmin. How are you doing this? You're trading both Dante and Josh Green? That's got to be it then. Okay, fine. Trade them both out. Must trade out to use NTMLE. I wonder if Yossi went live with this. Probably not. Probably not big enough news. All right, now you're under the first apron at last to use the non-taxpayer. So traded out both Dante and Josh. I would say it's going to be a lot harder to trade those two guys than it is to trade Moody. So if I'm sitting there, if I'm looking at this from LeBron's perspective, and I was told by Minnesota that we have a non-taxpayer mid-level we can use on you, I'd be like, do you? You got to make 2 trades? Really? Maybe they can make 1 trade. I mean, maybe they can. By the way, they like Joan Behringer. Forgot to mention that. He should be locked in on all of the Minnesota ones. And you're probably not trading Terrence Shannon. Hell no. He's playing way above that level. So you can't trade him. Bones Highland, did they just get him or no? They is he a free agent? Why is he still on here? Could have sworn. There we go. Let's look at Minnesota. There he is. Oh, he's guaranteed. Okay. Ah, that's a cheap contract. Yeah, you got to keep this. Bones on a minimum? He played great last season. So I'm trading Jalen Clark and Josh Green, let's say. Jalen Clark and Josh Green. Let me lock in all these other guys. So I'm locking in these guys. All right, cool. The Rui one. Let's try Rui. Let's see. Min, Rui, Dante, Josh Green. All traded. Duplicate that and let's go Min, Rui, traded Josh Green, and a minimum. Change this to plus JG. So let me restore Dante. Wow, Josh Green makes 14 million. I think that's an overpay. So what if I traded out Jalen Clark? Must trade out. Let's see if it works. Probably not. No, not even, because that's too small. 3 million is too small. And you're locking in, you're definitely not trading Behringer. Maybe you could trade Terrence Shannon, but he's too small. Yeah, why am I even doing this? So let's just delete. Too small salary to trade out. I think, let me see, you would need, yeah, you got only 1 million. You're 320,000 under the first apron. So based on my analysis, they would have to trade out both Josh Green and Dante to accommodate Rui. Did the Knicks get LeBron? I don't think so. We went through that. He wouldn't even start for the Knicks. So why would he go there if he's coming off the bench? Kind of establish that as a thing. Hawks, Bucks, Cavs have interest in Jonathan Kuminga joining Lakers. Oh, joining Lakers in interest. We did the Cavs, so I wonder what could they offer Jonathan? That was not realistic because Harden, they would need to trade somebody to get Jonathan the non-taxpayer mid-level. And for sure, Jonathan ain't not going for the taxpayer. $6 million. So I would cross out Cleveland on that list. Like, what are you going to do? Who are you going to trade out? Okay. We'll see. He gets the start. Jonathan would start for the Cavs. All right. See what else there is. Oh, gosh. What is this? NBC Authentic. Biggest thing is to put together a good team going into camp. Yeah, you know what? Mike Dunleavy is not telling you anything. Looking for more scoring, better offensive punch. Yaxel can fill a lot of missing pieces. Wow, I almost went 3 hours just going through cap sheets. That's it. Cool. It always ends up 3 hours. Let's end that poll because would you be okay with Rui being guaranteed $15 million for 2 years? Affects cap space for summer 2027. Again, those of you coming on the live late, $15 million is not that much. No, I want to go on free agent shopping spree. Yeah, people forget fully healthy on paper. Our roster's pretty nice, but I know there's spacing issues, and I know that we go in there with injured guys. So, yeah, already talked about Trey Murphy. So, and then I'll stay on for 4 more minutes, and we'll call it a night. All right. Anything else? I don't think so, huh? I mean, this is our feed on Discord would have more, and it's getting pretty late, so probably no news has come around. Let's check our salary cap channel just for good measure, because Yossi Goslin is categorized in there, as well as Keith Smith and Bobby Marks. Tari Eason got a 16 million annual salary. Excuse me. Best contract, huh? I don't know. I don't know if Tari Eason's that good anymore. I liked him better 2 years ago. And then suddenly I don't think he's that great. Maybe just because he disappeared in the playoffs. I'm not sure. Kyrie would be nice on this team. Yeah, when's his contract come up? I mean, I don't mean to say, yeah, I agree. I don't know. Where is he? Dallas? Oh, player option. Oh, yeah. So we could go shopping for Kyrie next summer. That's interesting, huh? How old is he? Oh, it doesn't say his age. We got to go to BK Ref. That's an interesting one. But you're right. I totally forgot about Kyrie. He's available next summer because it's a player option. I know Bruce is going to say, no way, I don't want any old people. 34, so he'd be 35. Nah. Think we're not going to do that. Too old. Yeah, people forget about Guy. Guy is great off the bench. He was talking about Knicks. Yeah, I know. Who's he? Yeah, well, he didn't talk about whether or not. So that's, I mean, it could turn out to be wrong. I mean, LeBron could sign with the Knicks tomorrow. I just don't think so. And we thought about it, and that we came to that conclusion. So anytime you go through this, like I call it the decision tree, and then you come up with a conclusion after making decisions and going down branches, you're comfortable with that because you made certain decisions rather than emotionally reacting to whatever's on Twitter that you saw on your doom scroll, right? So we know we did the due diligence on that. So we're comfortable that if we're wrong, then it was one of our assumptions that we made before. And the big assumption that we made, which with anything in the NBA, even on the court, off the court, everything's kind of like these dominoes that fall, or the branches that grow off of a tree. in fast motion. Like you're making decisions to go this way or that way. And at least when a result happens and it doesn't foot with what you thought would happen based on your decision tree, then you go back to where the branch, where you were maybe mistaken. So maybe the assumption that he doesn't want to come off the bench does not apply to the Knicks. Who knows? So someone asked, but you're not going to get all these great players in free agency. What? Wait, hold on. Brandon Miller's not a great player. Who else did we mention in the 2023 draft? They're restricted free agents, but the Lakers got a restricted free agent, Kessler. Therefore, a restricted free agency. At the end of the day, it's free agency. And the other thing is, was this free agent class impressive? The Lakers went and got a bunch of guys, Kessler being the big one. Quentin Grimes, Colin Sexton. You just need some playable guys, and then you need your stars. We have a star. Matter of fact, we're going to have two, and maybe both of them will take discounts. So I don't know that rebuttal was that strong, honestly. So there's Brandon Miller, Thompson twins. There's another really awesome one that I forgot. Keontae George. He's not the one, though. We mentioned Kyrie. Unless they extend him, which they won't because he's just coming off an injury. There was another guy other than Brandon Miller that I was like, yes. Who was it? Anybody remember? Has to be here. One of these guys. Damn. Let's see. Maybe it was Brandon Miller. Derek Lively. You could overpay for any of these guys. Ah, man, I can't believe I can't remember it. Because it was basically like the one that I wanted. Somebody's going to be a restricted free agent. The other way you could do this is, I mean, Scoot Henderson, right? Let's look at Portland. Yeah, qualifying offer. Although he's not really my cup of tea, but who else? Cason Wallace. I think that was the one. Oh, you're a New York fan. I don't think the Lakers are awesome, quote unquote, but they certainly, got better. And yeah, Kyrie will be a free agent. So I think there's a chance for us to go on a shopping spree. Okay, well, you guys are okay with Rui. I'm nitpicky, so okay. I'm not gonna be mad, but I'll still be surprised if it's a 2-year deal because it just doesn't fit that well. And if you're Mike Dunleavy, you don't go on Bonte Hill and Monty Poole's podcast, and the one thing you don't do is you show your cards. You don't tell them, oh, have you looked at our cap sheet for next summer? We're going to go on a shopping spree. We're planning to go on a shopping spree just like the Lakers did just now. Can't really say that, I don't think. That wouldn't be kosher to say. Like, oh, I'm really waiting for next summer. And I'm not even thinking of that completely too. I just think we need to get healthy, and we're stuck. So if we're stuck, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I understand how Moses is just out. His salary happens to be just that number where you get under the tax. You can get a Rui for it. I was saying the other day, I was saying this whole time, I was probably be okay with trading Moody because he's not going to play any games until he gets back. And Rui is probably going to play at least one game, which is more than what Moody will play until he gets back. Same thing with LeBron. So I don't know. I see the good and the bad. So I don't know if I'd be surprised. I take that back. Maybe 15 million isn't that much, but at least you have all the, everything's on the table. And February trading deadline. Yeah. Like Porzingis definitely has to play well and play a lot of games. It's that, he needs to do that for our own good and for his own good. And we'll see about the rehab of Jimmy, maybe Moses, but we'll see. And I think really, hey, we got Yaxel, so that's fun. As I've said before, and I need to contact my guy, but I have an in to Yaxel, but I don't know if I can, can I get an interview with them, that kind of thing? I don't know. I haven't asked yet, but I hope so. And I hope to ask soon because, well, I needed, there was a family, personal reasons why I cannot contact my Yaxel contact right now to find out. And yeah, everything would need to go through Raymond Ritter at the end of the day. So if you work for Warriors PR and you're watching right now, don't worry. Even though we have an in to Yaxel, which would be great for Let's Go Warriors, I'm not banking on it, number one. And number two, if it does happen, bad, everything's above board. I'm not going to ask him anything controversial. Everything's going to be for fun, and everything's going to be more about little nuances that we always wished we could ask. Although a lot of it is, if we would have to come up with some questions. I would need your help to come up with some questions that Warriors TV that they wouldn't come up with already, because they've already asked the hey, you're still wearing your draft cap question. And so we'd have to come up with some good questions, but I trust you guys. You guys will help me come up with some good questions for Yaxel, please, I hope. So if you happen to stay on this long, or if you happen to pop into this live stream at the right moment, there's your small little insider information and why you should hit the like button and subscribe and get notifications, because you never know. And our Discord server, the sign up is pinned in the comment. It's on the WAP platform, and we call it the knowledge base because everything is organized neatly. The mobile version of Discord is way better than the desktop, but you see here you get these live feeds, but these are VIP feeds. This is the $5 per month service. And then down here are all the free ones where I kind of curate the stuff. So I'm going to add the Jake Fisher report on Rui into the free Dunleavy section. Most times during free agency, most things are free anyways. It's just the stuff that's personal. Like here's like today, I got some behind the scenes video of Jimmy heading to Taiwan. I mean, look, if you already saw these clips, then good for you. You don't need the VIP one, but if you want everything conveniently in one place, then you can have the VIP and then go to here and see the videos, right? So no biggie. But there is a bug in the Discord signup. So just be aware that I need to fix that in the next week. However, if you do sign up, then I can fix that for you coming up. 70% field goal. There you go again. You just want to fight with me, huh? Okay. We will have, I mean, you build your team for the future. So you use cap space. You use draft picks. You can build the team through trades, right? Come on, man. What is your problem? Maybe I'm just tired. Oh, man. Let me put it this way. Type in something that convinces me that going on a shopping spree a la Lakers with cap space and picks is not a good thing. You have not typed that in yet. So you convince me. Why do I have to convince you? The All-Stars rebuttal, another poor rebuttal. Is not Brandon Miller exciting? Is not Kason Wallace exciting? Is not all of the names that I gave you. There's also Donovan Mitchell, by the way. So, as I've said before and many times, you need to root for the Cavs to have struggles. Things like that. Although you shouldn't root for people to fail. Nah, something will pop up. Like there's always a guy. Like nobody thought Kessler would be like, you know, this sought after, and it turned out to be the right fit. So there'll be somebody else that pops up next summer. There always is. And you know what? It doesn't matter. That's when we have cap space. So that's when you need to go and build the team. That way we didn't have to, tank. You can't tank anymore anyways. But back in the day, I mean, you either tanked and you got picks and you created space because you were bad and you had bad contracts that were expiring and you went through those years, or you just tried your best like we're trying with these old guys up top. And then, hey, look, we're going to get a Jalen Brunson guy here. Like Steph is going to take a discount, and maybe Jimmy will come along and do a discount as well, just because he loves the organization and so on and so forth. So while you poo-poo the idea of having the cap space to do stuff and the picks next summer, I say it's pretty darn good. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm making an assumption that you're trying to just undercut that, and you're in a bad mood, or you came straight from Warriors Twitter where all they do is make you feel bad about your team. So we're on YouTube. We're not on Twitter. YouTube, best community on the planet, even though we still get people in the comments sometimes that want to make you feel bad about your team. So I'm not here to make you feel bad about your team. I'm here to make you feel better about your team, with not just blindly. And I wish I got paid from Joe Lacob, or somebody retweeted Dalton Johnson saying that we needed to trade for Trey Murphy, which I totally disagree with for obvious reasons, the cap space thing. And they were like, hey, look, a Warriors employee disagrees. Warriors employee? No, he works for NBC, dude. Totally, like, understand the context, understand how the web of the Warriors and the NBA works. So we have different opinions. I don't see your logic. So I just don't see your logic. Yeah, you haven't said the thing that makes us different. So that's the last thing I got to say. Like, I get it. At the end of the day, the NBA, basketball, super competitive. One of the most competitive things in the world. It's right up there with soccer. And back in the day, did they have basketball in the Roman Empire? Did they have soccer even? No, they had the Roman Colosseum and lions mauling, prisoners. That was their entertainment. Good thing we've evolved from that and become civilized, right? However, if I could impart one more piece of knowledge before I leave, other than the cap sheet thing for next summer, the last thing I want to say is that it's such a competitive environment. Like, lots of times we just argue in the comments, and it's like, I don't want to fight people. I just want you to love the game of basketball. But if you're going to complain about the Warriors, about this and that, I mean, what's the point? Like, we have Steph Curry, and he's given us, every time he steps on the court, we go nuts. It's like the most beautiful basketball ever, arguably against Michael Jordan, when I saw Michael Jordan, but certainly it's more fun to play with Steph. If I've always said, if we got invaded by, Martians that wanted to take over the world and we had to play them in basketball, I would get Michael Jordan, prime Michael Jordan. I would not get Steph, because he turns the ball over too much and he does take bad shots. However, he makes them sometimes, and sometimes he gets in those modes where he doesn't turn the ball over. The point being, we've got one of the GOATs of all time. The GOATs of all time, that's kind of repetitive. The greatest of all time is one of them is on our team. And that's great. So stop complaining. 2 words. Mall Hornet is impatient. I can already tell. Not only are you continuing to argue with me on stuff and can't make the argument the right way, like, just, I mean, you're I don't know, you're missing the points that I'm making, but that's okay. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. But like, the fact that you would put Trey Murphy in the comments means you aren't listening to me. Because if you go look up Trey Murphy's contract, New Orleans Pelicans, you'll see that 29 million in cap space taken up, and then 31 million after that. I want to go on a shopping spree for free agents next summer, and I'm willing to not win a championship to get there. Like, it's Spurs or OKC, right? Or maybe New York, or maybe Philadelphia now. Like, we're not as good as them. And Trey Murphy is not going to make us beat OKC, the Spurs, New York, or Philly. He's not that good. He's not even an all-star. However, I actually picked him instead of Moody. If you go to Let's Go Warriors and you go search on Trey Murphy around the time of the draft of 2021, you'll see that I wanted Trey Murphy, and we didn't pick him. Do you see me mad about that? I'm not mad about that. It is what it is. But as far as trading for Trey Murphy right now, doesn't make sense to me. Now, he could be traded tomorrow, and it'd be like, okay, well, that blew up in my face. But you know what I want to do? I would call up Yossi Goslin, and we'd have a conversation. We go, why do you think Mike Dunleavy ended up doing that? Because it doesn't make any sense. You were supposed to clear your books so that you could go on a free agent shopping spree, just like the Lakers, next summer. And Trey Murphy wasn't going to win us a championship this season anyways, because you have to trade somebody out. We're not just adding Trey. So that doesn't make any sense to me. So, you know what? At least you know that that's kind of maybe the strategy for Mike Dunleavy. Because right now, not a lot of people know. I can tell you that less than 1% of Warriors Twitter knows. But I don't know, we're arguing again, and I don't like that energy. Like, I just want to have hope. I want to, look forward to the future. And Trey Murphy sounds nice and everything, but it doesn't sound as nice to me as a cap sheet that's pretty much clear for next summer. And I can wait. But I also think that we're still pretty good, because, as I said at the top of the live stream, which you weren't here for, but I think we can beat Denver, and that's without Trey Murphy. And in fact, I don't know that Trey Murphy makes it that much better to beat Denver, right? And I'm not worried about OKC and San Antonio, whatever, but I think the number 3 seed is wide open. Like, Denver, okay, what's their best option? Run it back and be, under the second apron barely. So yeah, okay, let's run it back. You look at Denver's squad on here. And I think we can beat them. And the Lakers. I think the Lakers, they had to go and get Walker Kessler. They had no choice. Luka demanded it. But they forgot to go get a wing. So too bad for you. I think we can beat you. So I went down and yeah. Man, I give up. Mall Hornet, you can just comment whatever you want. I can't have a fair argument with you. It's like you're emotionally tied to Trey Murphy, which you are, right? Just admit it, man. I'd almost have more respect because I feel like there's something wrong with your logic processing. Like you still haven't made the right argument. But okay, whatever. I mean, it's like you keep dismissing that strategy when it's pretty clear that that's what we're doing. So, but I get it. 99.999% of Twitter has you thinking that way. I can't do anything about it. That's a tidal wave. That's a tidal wave of missing information for those guys. Like this hasn't what I'm saying here, not even Dalton Johnson has processed that. So he just wants to win now. We need to win now. And I'm saying, look, number 3 seed is wide open. We can do it without Trey Murphy. If you do it with Trey Murphy, it doesn't improve you to the 2nd seed, and you can't build a new team. I want to build a new team next summer. Trade for Trey Murphy next summer. What's the hurry? Just get him next summer if you're that into him, right? Do you kind of understand that part now? So I don't know, man. It's just so tiring. It's always just like one guy. Well, I appreciate the rest of the chat because that you guys got to understand, like on social media, like first of all, us guys that never really complain, we have no reason to thumb type stuff because that's for complainers usually. And it's like the one place where people actually thumb type inspiring stuff is right here on Let's Go Warriors. So I get it. It's like, it's hard not to thumb type disagreement and go with the narrative, and you feel like you're cool because everybody on Twitter is saying that. Like, I get it. If I can just open people's eyes a little bit to what's happening, then that's cool. And I think I have. So I don't know why, it's a hard habit to break. That's the other thing. So, you always, you get engaged in an argument, and the competitive side of me, because I come from basketball. I ran basketball leagues. I built Asian American teams to go play in tournaments all over the country, all over the world, really. I'm a competitive guy. I used to be the guy, like, I used to pop off on refs, got technicals, took me years to mature from that. So it's hard. It's hard for me to not come on here and, compete. But I really don't want to compete anymore. I just want to hang around other high vibrational people like Dean Chambers and talk about stuff like, man, we've been, 12, 13 years now I remember when I was first credentialed with the Warriors in 2013, and that first playoff series against Denver, me and my guy Drew Morita, who used to write for the San Francisco Examiner, I don't even know what he's doing these days. I managed to find him recently in the last year, and we reminisced, and we were sitting there up in the upper deck because it was so jam packed. They had to put media in the upper deck, or the us blogger types up there. The San Francisco Examiner is not quite the San Francisco Chronicle, so he was sitting up there next to me, and every time Steph would throw a haymaker, he grabbed my arm. We're supposed to be, well, we're bloggers. We're not journalists officially. We're not super objective. I know if you write for the Chronicle, you're not supposed to do that, but he wrote for the Examiner, so he gets a pass. And I wrote for Golden State of Mind. So I was a blogger. So it was my job to be biased toward the Warriors. And he just grabbed my forearm when Steph, anytime he threw a haymaker from 35 feet, we had never seen that before in the playoffs. So see, I have that as my foundation. So I'm lucky. I can never be entitled about the Warriors because I'm that lucky. But I'm also realizing that I'm lucky that my dad loved the game of basketball. And so I fell in love with the game of basketball. And can you imagine, 13 years old, he invites me to go play with his buddies. So I'm playing amongst adults. And we're playing zone, and he's teaching me how to play zone defense. And when I screw that up, he yells at me, right? Or maybe he didn't even yell at me, but when your parent disapproves or you failed your dad, that is the worst feeling ever. If I could go back in time and tell that kid, man, this feeling you have, you're going to look back at this as the best thing that ever happened to you. Like, really? My dad, giving me the condescending look as I screw up the zone defense? I feel terrible about this. This is basketball. You mean you're going to thank me for going through this? Yeah. The best thing ever. So going through adversity in basketball is a great thing. So I would embrace it. All right. Well, I think that's it. Dean says another shoe has to drop. Might be a trade to get Bronny. Yeah, you know what? I don't really care about the minimum spots. That's fine. But yeah, I think Dean is just pointing that out. You heard it here first from Dean, although a lot of people could have guessed that. So anyways, thanks for joining, but thanks for commenting. You see, I thought getting into argument with Maul was a bad thing, but you made me remember why I love the game, and I pointed out a dark time in my basketball career. So thank you for giving me that memory and the reappreciation of my dad for just being who he is. Of course, he could be more like Steve Kerr in my basketball development, but he wasn't. But it turned out okay. So we'll be fine. Trust me, we'll be fine. It's basketball. And I'm here to give you the basketball lessons. So we'll be fine. And we are going to get that 3rd seed. That's all I got. Now, if something drops, we'll go live again. But tomorrow is a game. Next live tomorrow, July 3rd, 7:30 p.m. I'll call it 7 o'clock. Yaxel's first game. Wow. I mean, that just speaks for itself. We'll be here for that. But thanks. I don't mind that I went 3.5 hours and rambled, because I ended up remembering why I love the game and happen to love the Warriors. We're so lucky that you chose the Warriors, because they are the best team to root for on the planet. We're so lucky to be Warriors fans and have Steph Curry as our GOAT. We're so lucky. Let's embody him. Let's be joyful just like him. Let's not act entitled. Let's not demand things from Mike Dunleavy. Let's remember that we're all excited to see Steph and Yaxel on the same court. I mean, or anytime Steph steps on the floor. Although these next 2 or 3 weeks, anytime Yaxel steps on the floor. So it's going to be fun, guys. All right, y'all. Yeah. Let me send that one to Yaxel, man. I'm going to send that over. Appreciate you all. See you tomorrow. Yaxel debut. Just Us 1, 2, 3 and Brate. Let's go Warriors 2.